All right, this story is called The Ultrasound. And it'll probably be pretty obvious where it's going pretty quickly. But so when I was in high school, I was, I think, a junior, 17, doesn't matter, senior. Um, I I had been having like really severe testicle pain for about a day and a half, 2 days. So I talked to my mom and I'm like, hey mom, like what should I do? She's like, okay, well, that could be really bad. Let's go to the doctor. So I live in a small town. I go to the doctor, and he's telling me, he's like, he did like a like a physical exam, um, and and he's like, well, what it could be is what's called like an ascended testicle, where it basically has like flipped on itself and is cutting off the blood flow to the vein. So like it's sitting on the vein, cutting off the blood flow, and I'm just like, "Ugh." And he's like, and it can actually like die, and then you'd have to be surgically removed because it would be dead. And I'm like, let's not do that. So he's like, well, I can call the hospital and see if we can get you in for an ultrasound today. So I'm still a minor. I go with it's. My mom's like, well, we have to do it, and I'm like, yeah, whatever. I don't want my testicle to die. So I have the option. Like my mom's like, do you want to go with me or do you want to go with dad? And I'm like, well, I'll go with dad. Whatever. It'll be less weird. Might have been wrong. So we go to this smaller town hospital, and we're led to like where I'm getting this ultrasound, and right away it's just like a terrible experience because this section of the hospital is just labeled women's imaging because I'm sure like the majority of what they do there is ultrasounds for pregnancies. So, and it's like an all female staff. The nurse that helps us is um, comes out, talks to me. She's like really attractive, younger. It's probably like 24, 23, 25. Um, and so she gives me some like really uncomfortable instructions on how to like situate myself. And then so I get ready, and then she comes in. My dad's just in the room with us, and for an ultrasound they have like this really, it's like this warm gel that they put on like a ball thing, and then they just kind of like, and it basically bounces sound off and then shows on the monitor. And so I'm like, well, this is pretty awful. I'm like pants down, sitting here with this attractive nurse and my dad. But whatever, the worst is over. Boy, was I wrong. My dad is one of those people that like will just talk to anyone. Like you'd go to the grocery store and he'd just be like talking to the person in front of him in line, and be like, did you catch the game last night or whatever? And then you leave and it's like, oh, do you know that person? He's like, no. It's like, what? So he's talking to the nurse and just asking really weird questions. Like I don't know, she's doing the ultrasound, and he's like, is that like a normal, like, is that normal size? And I'm just like, who cares? Like, stop talking. Because she's like, I don't know, it's on the monitor, and then she uses the computer to like get the dimensions, and it's just like really weird. Anyways, finally get out of there. And for those, a common question when I tell the story, people are like, and I'm like, no, I did not get aroused. So don't worry about that. But got a call the next day from the doctor who like looked over all the results and whatever, and he's like, well, there's nothing wrong with you. There's great news, but it's like, well, I went through all of that for no reason. um, and then I'm thinking like, well, maybe I just like hurt myself and don't remember when. So I'm thinking like 4 or 5 days earlier what happened. Turns out me and my brother were just dancing really weird at the homecoming dance, and I must have been like repeatedly inflicting pain upon myself without knowing it. Yeah, so, and then I mean, I like went back to school and had like a hospital wristband on because you get, and I didn't take it off because I didn't like notice it right away. And a few of my friends are like, "Whoa, what happened?" And I'm just like, "Nothing, nothing important." So, yeah, there's the ultrasound.